Have you ever felt your emotions control you, instead of the other way around? Have you faced a day where anger, fear, or pain clouded your mind, and you wished you could stand unshaken? What if I told you there's a way to turn those storms into strength, to breathe calm even when chaos roars? Let me paint a scene. A woman is criticized harshly at work. Her face burns, her heart races. But instead of lashing out, she pauses. She asks, "Is this within my control?" She cannot stop the words thrown at her, but she chooses her response. She answers with grace. The room falls silent. That is Stoicism in action, not cold indifference, but unbreakable clarity. Welcome to Stoic Greetings. If you're new here, you've stepped into a space where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Together, we'll uncover how to master our minds, not our circumstances. But before we begin, let me share a truth. Did you know, out of the thousands who watch these videos, only 0.2% hit subscribe? If this message speaks to you, be part of that rare few who choose growth. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's build this tribe of thinkers, one click at a time. Today, we dive into 10 secrets forged by Stoic women across centuries, women who faced wars, loss, and betrayal, yet stood firm. Secrets not of avoiding pain, but using it. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside of it. Realize this, and you will find strength. This isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about reigning over it. Imagine facing life's sharpest blows and bending like a willow, never breaking. That is the Stoic heart. Stick with me until the end, because secret number 10, it's the key to unlocking a version of yourself that no storm can break. Let's begin. The art of perception, seeing beyond chaos. Let me tell you a story. A woman stands at the edge of a storm. Rain lashes her face, thunder shakes the earth. She does not run. She does not scream. Instead, she closes her eyes and asks herself, what is this storm, truly? Is it a disaster? Or is it water, and wind, and noise? Nothing more. This is the first secret of Stoic women, the art of perception. You see, chaos does not live in the world. It lives in how we see the world. The Stoics call this phantasiae, our impressions of events. And here's the truth. Your suffering begins the moment you label a thing good or bad. The event itself? Neutral. It simply is. But you hold the brush. You paint it with meaning. Epictetus, the slave who became a sage, said it plainly, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Let that sink in. The colleague who insults you, the lover who leaves, the failure that haunts you, they're not the problem. The problem is the story you tell yourself about them. She hates me. I am unworthy. I will never recover. These are not facts. These are judgments, wildfires you feed with your own breath. But here's where the Stoic woman differs. She does not let her mind become a battlefield. She steps back. She dissects. Let me show you how. The 3 layers of perception. Imagine a thorn pierces your palm. You bleed. You feel pain. What do? A child screams. A warrior asks, what can I learn from this thorn? The Stoic philosopher King Marcus Aurelius wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This is not denial. This is clarity. The thorn is real. The blood is real. But the agony? That is your mind's invention. Let's break it down. The event, the raw, unfiltered thing that happens. Your partner forgets your anniversary. Your project fails. A stranger shouts at you. Your judgment, the story you wrap around it. They don't care. I'm a failure. The world is cruel. Your power, the space between the event and your judgment, where your freedom lives. Most people never see that space. They jump from event to judgment like a spark to dry grass. But the Stoic woman? She lives in that space. She breathes there. She asks, what is actually happening? What can I control? A story from the ashes. In ancient Rome, a woman named Aurea watched her husband, Epictetus, sentenced to death for defying the emperor. The night before his execution, Epictetus trembled. Aurea took a dagger, stabbed herself in the chest, pulled it out, and handed it to him. Epictetus, she said, it does not hurt. What did she see in that moment? Not death. Not loss. She saw a choice, to meet pain with defiance. To show her husband that even the sharpest blade could not conquer a disciplined mind. That is the art of perception. You might say, but I'm not facing execution. My problems are smaller, are they? Or have you simply magnified them? The coworker's gossip, the unpaid bill, the lonely evening, these are your daggers. The question is, do you hand the blade back to the world, or do you say, it does not hurt? The practice, rewiring your eyes. This is not philosophy for dusty books. This is a weapon. And like any weapon, it must be sharpened daily. Here's how. Pause the story. When chaos strikes, a harsh word, a missed opportunity, freeze. Breathe. Ask, what is actually here? Separate fact from fiction. Fact, your friend didn't text back. Fiction, they're ignoring me. I'm not important. Reframe the lens. Stoic women ask, how would my best self see this? Not as a victim, but as a student. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the obstacle is the way. That rude stranger? They're not a tormentor. They're a teacher showing you how to keep calm. Act, don't react. Once you strip the event of judgment, ask, what can I do? If you can fix it, fix it. If you can't, tend to your mind. As Seneca said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. The storm in your cup. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, once told a parable. A man shakes a cup of water and says, this is my troubled mind. Zeno replies, no, the water is still. You are the storm. Every day, you hold the cup. A traffic jam. A betrayal. A dream deferred. You can shake it and scream at the waves, or you can set it down. Let the mud settle. See clearly. This is not easy. It is a war. But remember, no one can make you angry. No one can make you bitter. Those emotions require your consent. Revoke it. Your invitation. You are not here to become stone. You are here to become steel, flexible, unbreaking, sharp. The art of perception is your forge. So the next time chaos comes, and it will whisper to yourself, this is water. This is wind. This is noise. I choose what it means. And watch the storm bow to your clarity. The discipline of desire, mastering what you truly control. Let me ask you this. What if your greatest suffering comes not from the world, but from what you crave from it? Imagine a woman standing at the shore, screaming at the waves to stop. Quiet. Be still. But the ocean does not obey. It never will. Now, imagine her sitting down instead, listening, letting the roar fill her bones. That is the Stoic secret, the discipline of desire. Here's the truth. You are not a puppet of the world. You are a prisoner of your own wants. The promotion you chase, the love you beg for, the respect you demand. These are not needs. They are wishes, wildfires that burn you from the inside. The Stoics call this pathos, the unhealthy passions that chain us. But there is a way out. Let me tell you about Cleanthes, a man who carried water by day and studied philosophy by night. He slept on hard ground, on nothing, ate scraps. Yet when offered riches, he refused. I already have everything, he said. How? Because he mastered desire. He wanted only what he already possessed, his breath, his mind, his virtue. This is not about poverty. It's about freedom. your freedom, the cage you built yourself. Close your eyes. Think of one thing you desperately want right now. A relationship, money, recognition. Feel the hunger? That ache? That is your cage. Epictetus, born a slave, taught, freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by destroying it. Let me explain. When you tie your peace to things outside your control, a person's love, society's approval, the whims of fate, you hand them the keys to your soul. They decide if you suffer. They decide if you smile. Is that how you wish to live? A Stoic woman does not beg the world for mercy. She asks, what is mine to hold? Her efforts, her choices, her character. The rest? She lets it go, not with defeat, but with sovereignty. The parable of the two gardens. Two women plant seeds. The first waters her garden daily, but screams at the sky for rain. When storms come, she curses the clouds. When sun blazes, she withers. Her joy dies with every leaf that falls. The second woman? She tends her soil, but smiles at both storm and sun. I control only my hands, she says. Her garden may bloom or burn, but her peace? Unshaken. Which woman are you? The practice of wanting less. This is not theory. It is survival. Every morning, the Stoic woman recites, today, I will face greed, lust, envy, but they will not roll me. How? Name your chains. Write down one desire that tortures you. I need my boss to praise me. I must lose 10 pounds. They have to apologize. Now burn it. Literally or metaphorically. These are not your masters. The up to me rule, Epictetus said, some things are up to us, some are not. Your job, your body, your reputation, not fully yours, but your honesty, your effort, your courage, those are your kingdom. Guard them. The gift of enough, Seneca wrote, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. Each night, list 3 things you already have. A warm bed, a working heart, a mind that can read these words. This is wealth. The woman who could not be broken. In Nero's Rome, a Stoic woman named Thrasea was sentenced to death for refusing to worship the emperor. As the soldiers approached, her friends wept. She calmly finished her letter, stood, and said, let us show them how a Stoic dies. What did she desire in that moment? Not life, not revenge, only to act with honor. Her what was so pure, so hers, that not even death could touch it. You will not face swords today. But what about the daggers of envy, of comparison, of not enough? The discipline of desire is your armor. The myth of, I will be happy when. I'll be happy when I'm rich, when I'm loved, when I'm thin. Lies. All of it. The Stoic knows, happiness is not a destination. It is a decision. Right here. Right now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. If today were your last, would you waste it craving tomorrow? A student once asked Seneca, how do I find peace? He answered, stop asking the world for what it cannot give. Your rebellion begins today. The world will never stop demanding your hunger. Ads will whisper, buy this. Social media will hiss, be that. Lovers will promise, I'll complete you. Do not listen. The Stoic woman's rebellion is simple. She wants less. She thrives on enough. She replaces desire with gratitude. Not because she's weak, but because she's free. So next time you ache for something, pause. Ask, is this within my control? Or am I begging the waves to stop? Then plant your feet and let the ocean roar. A more fatty, loving fate in a world of uncertainty. Imagine this. A woman stands at the edge of a cliff. The wind tears at her clothes. Below her, jagged rocks. Behind her, a wildfire. There is no escape. What does she do? She smiles. Not because she is reckless, not because she is foolish, but because she understands a truth so profound it turns terror into triumph. This is amor fati, the love of fate, the Stoic secret to dancing in the storm. Let me be clear, this is not about surrendering to life. This is about embracing it, every scar, every loss, every twist you never saw coming. The Stoics did not preach passive acceptance. They demanded defiant love. Nietzsche, who admired the Stoics, wrote, amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not despite the pain, because of it. You see, fate is not your enemy. It is your teacher. And the lesson is this: your life is not what happens to you. It is how you marry yourself to what happens. The day the world burned. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius buried Pompeii in ash. Thousands perished. But history whispers of a woman named Rectina, a Stoic, who wrote letters until her final breath. When the sky turned black, she did not scream for salvation. She wrote, I die as I lived, awake. What did she know that we have forgotten? She knew that screaming at fate is like cursing the rain. It still falls. Amor fati is the choice to lift your face to it and drink. You might say, but I didn't choose this illness, this betrayal, this loneliness. True. But you can choose to say, this is my path. I will walk it with my head high. The trap of it, if only. If only I had a better job. If only they loved me. If only I were born richer, smarter, prettier. These are the lies that poison your peace. They are chains of your own making. Epictetus, who was crippled by a cruel master, said, do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do. Let me translate. Stop arguing with reality. The moment you stop fighting what is, you unlock a power no one can take, the power to use it. Here's a story. A farmer's crops are destroyed by floods. His neighbors weep. He shrugs and says, now I can plant something new. That is amor fati. Not luck. Not magic. A decision. The practice of kissing the blade. This is not philosophy. This is alchemy, turning lead into gold. How? Say thank you to the storm. When hardship strikes, a job loss, a broken heart, a betrayal, whisper, what are you here to teach me? Not, why me? But, what now? Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Rewrite your story. You are not a victim of your past. You are the author of its meaning. A Stoic woman does not say, my childhood broke me. She says, my childhood taught me to rise. Fall in love with the process, not the goal, not the dream, the now. Seneca said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Love the climb, not the summit. The woman who danced in prison. In Nazi Germany, a Stoic named Edith Stein was sent to Auschwitz. On the night before her death, she gathered the women in her cell. They had no food, no hope. Yet she said, let us sing. They sang hymns. They held hands. They chose joy. Edith did not win her freedom, but she won something greater, herself. You are not in a death camp. But what about your prison of resentment? Your cage of, if only? Amor fati is the key. The illusion of control. You clutch at life like a child clings to a balloon, terrified it will fly away. But here's the truth. It was never yours to hold. The Stoic woman knows this. She does not grasp. She does not beg. She opens her hands and lets the wind decide. Does this mean you do nothing? No. You act fiercely, but you release the need for a specific outcome. You work like a soldier and let go like a sage. Zeno, founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck, his wealth, his crew, his future. His response? Fortune has done me a great favor. Now I can truly study philosophy. What if you saw every loss as a shipwreck leading you to shore? Your invitation to freedom. Life will hurt you. It will break your plans. It will humble your pride. But here is the secret. You get to decide what it all means. The next time fate kicks you to your knees, laugh. Say, is that all you've got? Then stand. Not in spite of the pain for it. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, a blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything thrown into it. So let your life be the fire. Let fate be the fuel. The fire of resilience, transforming pain into power. Picture this. A blacksmith hammers a blade into the heart of a furnace. The metal screams. Sparks fly. But with every strike, it grows sharper, stronger, unbreakable. Now imagine you are that blade. Life's hammer strikes you. Loss, betrayal, failure. But instead of shattering, you bend. You glow. You rise, tempered by the flame. This is the Stoic secret. Pain is not your enemy. It is your forge. Let me tell you about a woman named Portia, daughter of Cato, wife of Brutus. When her husband died in battle, she did not collapse. She did not fade. She swallowed burning coals. A brutal end, but her final words? Just as I was born free, I will die free. Extreme? Yes. But her message echoes through time. No one can chain a soul that refuses to break. You see, resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about letting it reshape you. Seneca, who faced exile and betrayal, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. You don't get stronger by lifting feathers. You lift stones." The myth of the unscathed life. We've been lied to. Social media whispers, happiness is a life without scars. But the Stoic knows, a scar is proof you lived, proof you fought. The child who never falls never learns to walk. The sailor who fears storms never reaches the shore. Here's the truth. Your deepest wounds are classrooms. What did your heartbreak teach you? Compassion. Your failure? Humility. Your betrayal? Discernment. Even your darkest night gives you stars, if you dare to look up. Marcus Aurelius, who buried 9 children and ruled an empire in chaos, wrote, "The blazing fire makes flames and brightness out of everything thrown into it. Throw your pain into the flames. Watch it become light." The day the wolf howled. In ancient Sparta, a young girl was sent to the mountains alone. No food, no weapon, just the clothes on her back. If she survived, she'd return a warrior. If not, the wolves would feast. Stoicism is your mountain. The wolves? Your doubts, your grief, your fear. But you are no victim. You are the Spartan. You choose to return stronger, or not at all. How to walk on coals. This is not metaphor. This is manual. Let it burn. When pain comes, a diagnosis, a rejection, a wound, sit with it. Don't numb it with distraction or rage. Feel its heat. Ask, what is this here to carve out of me? Weakness? Or space for strength? Carve your story. After the fire, ashes remain. But ashes fertilize soil. Write the narrative. This pain did not destroy me. It rebuilt me. Epictetus, born in chains, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Master the story. Rise, repeat. Resilience is a muscle. Each time you endure, you grow thicker sinew. Next time, the blow will feel lighter. Why? Because you survived 1,000 hammers already. The woman who laughed at the flames. In 1969, a Buddhist monk named Thich Quang Duc set himself on fire to protest oppression. He did not scream. He did not move. He sat, engulfed, in perfect stillness. Extreme? Yes. But what if you could face your pain with even a fraction of that calm? The insult that stings? The dream that crumbles? Sit with it. Let it burn what needs to die: pride, illusion, fear. What remains will be pure, unshakable. Your pain is your property. Society calls pain bad. The Stoic calls it mine. You own it, not your parents, not your past, not the person who hurt you. Yours. And what you own, you can use. A farmer doesn't curse manure. He piles it, rots it, and grows food. Your pain? It's fertilizer. Plant seeds in it. Wait. The invitation. You are not here to live unscratched. You are here to become unbreakable. So the next time life throws you into the fire, don't scream. Glow. Let the world watch and awe as you turn agony into armor. The silence of the sage, why words are weapons. There's a tale from ancient Athens about a philosopher who walked into a marketplace. The streets buzzed with noise, vendors shouting, lovers quarreling, politicians lying. He stood still, closed his eyes. And when someone asked, "Why don't you speak?" he replied, "I am learning to listen." This is the sixth secret. Silence is not emptiness. It is fullness. A weapon sharper than any sword. The Stoic woman knows this. She does not fear quiet. She wields it. Let me explain. Words are like arrows. Once fired, they cannot be taken back. Gossip, anger, promises made in passion. How many wounds have you suffered or caused with careless speech? Seneca warned, speech is the index of the mind. A cluttered tongue betrays a cluttered soul. But silence? Silence is mastery. Imagine a stormy sea. Waves crash. Winds scream. But deep below the surface? Calm. Unmoving. That is the Stoic heart. Not numb. Not indifferent. Centered. When the world demands you react to insult, to drama, to chaos, silence is your anchor. The woman who conquered without a word. In the court of Emperor Nero, a Stoic woman named Unia was accused of treason. They dragged her before the Senate. "Defend yourself," they demanded. She stood, looked each man in the eye, and said nothing. Days passed. Threats grew. Still, she refused to speak. Finally, they released her. One senator muttered, "Her silence was louder than our lies." What power did she possess? The power to let her character, not her words, speak. As Epictetus taught, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid. Not because you are, but because you refuse to play the game. The trap of winning the argument. You felt it, the heat in your chest when someone insults you. The urge to crush them with wit, to prove them wrong. But ask yourself, what do you gain? A moment of pride? A lifetime of resentment? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When you retaliate, you become a mirror of their chaos. But when you stay silent, you force them to face their own reflection. A Stoic woman does not waste her breath on battles that drain her soul. She asks, will this matter in a year? Or am I just feeding the fire? The practice of becoming a hollow bone. Native elders speak of being a hollow bone, a channel for wisdom, not noise. The Stoic path is similar. Here's how to hollow yourself. Pause before you speak. When anger or hurt rises, count your breaths. 1, 2, 3. Let the storm pass. Then decide if words are needed. Most times, they aren't. Listen like a spy. When others gossip or rage, don't judge. Don't correct. Listen. Behind their words lie clues, fears, insecurities, pain. Understanding these disarms them. Sacred silence. Each morning, sit in stillness for 5 minutes. No music. No phone. Let your mind settle like mud in a pond. Over time, you'll see clearly, without stirring the water. The riot that dissolved in quiet. In 1965, during the civil rights marches, a group of protesters faced police dogs and batons. Instead of shouting back, they knelt, sang hymns. The officers froze. One later confessed, their silence was harder to face than any scream. This is the power of restraint, not weakness. Strategic strength. The world knows how to fight screamers. It crumbles before the quiet. Your tongue is a lion. Let it sleep. Every word costs energy. Every argument drains focus. The Stoic woman asks, is this worth my life force? Most aren't. Save your voice for truths that matter. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, rarely spoke in public. When asked why, he said, nature gave me one tongue and two ears. I use them in proportion. Think of the people you admire most. Are they loud? Or do they radiate? Charm shouts. Wisdom whispers. The myth of having the last word. You've been there, lying awake, replaying a fight, crafting the perfect comeback. But here's the truth. The last word is a myth. Arguments have no winners, only survivors. Seneca wrote, every word that is unnecessary is wasted breath. Imagine your words as gold coins. Spin them only where they'll grow. A student once asked Epictetus, how do I stop people from mocking me? He answered, stop being so interesting. Your invitation to power. The next time chaos knocks, a rude comment, a petty jab, a war of words, do the unexpected. Step back. Let the silence swell. Watch as their anger stumbles, lost without an enemy. This is not surrender. This is strategy. The sage does not speak because she has nothing to say. She speaks because her words will land. Until then, she tends her garden, waters her peace, sharpens her mind. So tonight, when the world screams, close your eyes, breathe, and let your silence roar. The mirror of virtue reflecting inner nobility. There is a story about an ancient king who owned a mirror unlike any other. It did not show his face. It showed his soul. When he looked into it, he saw not his crown, but his greed, his cruelty, his fear. He shattered the mirror in rage. But the shards? They multiplied. Every shard became a new mirror, scattered across the land, waiting for those brave enough to gaze into them. This is the seventh secret. Virtue is not what you preach. It is what the mirror shows when no one is watching. Let me be blunt. You are not judged by your words, not by your dreams, not by the mask you wear in daylight. You are judged by what you do in the dark. The Stoic woman knows this. She does not chase applause. She chases integrity, the kind that lingers like smoke in an empty room. Seneca wrote, a good character is the only guarantee of everlasting, carefree happiness. But how do you build it? Not by grand gestures. By the small, silent choices. The coin you return when no one sees. The kindness you offer when no one thanks you. The truth you speak when lies would be easier. The night the thief became a saint. In ancient Rome, a thief broke into the home of a Stoic philosopher. He searched for gold but found only books and simple furniture. As he turned to leave, the philosopher awoke and apologized. I have nothing worth stealing, he said. Then he handed the thief his lamp. Take this. The streets are dark. The thief later wrote, that night, I stole nothing, but I was given everything. He abandoned his life of crime, became a teacher, a healer. What changed him? Not loss, not threats. A single act of virtue, so pure, it became a mirror. When the thief saw his reflection in that lamp's light, he could not look away. The rod of convenient lies. How many times have you said, I'll do it tomorrow? No one will know. It's just this once. These are the cracks in your mirror, the stains on your soul. Epictetus, born a slave, warned, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. You want to be courageous? Then act now, when it costs you. Not when it's safe. Not when it's easy. A Stoic woman does not wait for disaster to test her character. She tests herself daily, in the market, at home, in the stillness of her mind. The parable of the two wells. Two villages had wells. The first village drew water greedily. They dumped waste. They lied. There's plenty left. The well dried. The village starved. The second village? They drank only what they needed. They cleaned the well daily. They taught their children, this water is not ours. It is borrowed. Their well flowed for centuries. Your virtue is that well. Every lie? Poison. Every act of selfishness? A stone tossed into the depths. But every choice of honor? A drop that ripples beyond your lifetime. The practice of the shadow. This is not about perfection. It is about awareness. Every night, the Stoic woman sits with her shadow. She asks, where did I compromise? Did I gossip? Flatter? Turn away from suffering? Admit it. Where did I stand firm? Did I speak truth? Share quietly? Refuse to hate? Celebrate it. What will I mend tomorrow? Not grand plans. One small act. A withheld insult. A moment of patience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. The woman who saved a nation with a whisper. During the reign of terror in France, a noblewoman named Madame de Staël was ordered to betray her friends. She refused. They threatened her life. She smiled and said, you can kill me. You cannot make me kill myself. Her defiance inspired a revolution of conscience. What did she see in her mirror? Not a hero. A woman who chose to die as herself, rather than live as a stranger. The illusion of good enough. Society will tell you, cheat a little, hate a little, take what you deserve. The Stoic asks, what is deserve? Who decides? Your virtue is not a transaction. It is a legacy. When you choose integrity, you send ripples into eternity. A great-great-grandchild you'll never meet will walk taller because you chose to stand straight. Seneca said, life is long if you know how to use it. But what use is a long life if it's stained by cowardice? Your reflection awaits. You stand before the mirror every moment, not the glass on your wall, the one in your chest, the one that shows your hands clean or bloody, your eyes steady or shifting. The next time you face a choice, to cheat, to hurt, to hide, ask, what will this look like in the mirror? Then decide, will you shatter it, or will you polish it, until your reflection blinds the darkness? The anchoring of time, living now, not yesterday or tomorrow. Close your eyes. Where are you right now? Not your body, your mind. Are you chewing on yesterday's regrets? Gnawing on tomorrow's fears? Or are you here, fully here, tasting the air, feeling the weight of your bones, hearing the hum of the world? The Stoic knows, time is not a river to drown in. It is ground to stand on. This moment, only this moment. Let me tell you about a fisherman on the Nile. Every dawn, he casts his net. Some days, it comes empty. Others, overflowing. But he never curses the past day's catch. Never starves himself worrying about tomorrow's tides. He mends his net. He watches the sun rise. He sings. When asked his secret, he smiles. The river gives what it gives. I take what is mine now. This is the eighth secret. The past is ash. The future is smoke. But the present? A blade in your hand. Use it. The curse of the broken clock. You felt it. The gnawing guilt of, I should have, the paralyzing dread of, what if? These are not thoughts. They are thieves. They pickpocket your peace, your power, your life. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire, wrote in his private journal, limit yourself to the present, not as a mantra, as a command. Why? Because he knew, a mind split between time zones cannot rule itself. A woman reliving her divorce cannot see her child's smile. A man terrified of death cannot taste his bread. The Stoic does not bury the past or worship the future. She builds her home in the now. Why? Because now is all you own. The day the philosopher died. When Seneca, the great Stoic, was ordered to kill himself by Nero, he didn't rage at the injustice. He didn't beg for more days. He called his friends. He dictated his final thoughts. He opened his veins and conversed as his life bled out. When his wife wept, he whispered, "Where is your philosophy? Focus on this breath, this moment. Nothing else exists." Extreme? Maybe. But here's the lesson. If you can face death anchored in the present, what excuse do you have for wasting a single living breath? The myth of when I have time. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll apologize when I'm braver. I'll live when things calm down. Lies. All of it. Epictetus, born a slave, scoffed. You act like you're immortal. Like you have decades to waste. He's right. You don't know if you'll see tonight's sunset. So why wait to forgive? To love? To begin? A Stoic woman writes the letter today. She mends the bridge now. Not because she's sure of tomorrow, but because she's certain of nothing but this flicker of time. The practice of the hourglass. This is not poetry. It's protocol. Name the ghosts. When your mind drifts to the past, shout, in your head, gone. When it races to the future, shout, maybe. Snap back to your senses, the chair beneath you, the breath in your nose. Steal the sacred. Every hour, stop. For 10 seconds, drink in one detail you've ignored. The way light bends on the floor. The rhythm of a colleague's laugh. The weight of your ring on your finger. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." These details are your currency. Burn the script. You are not your past failures. Not your future dreams. You are the woman reading these words. Right now, act like her. The child who held the sun. A teacher once asked a child, "What is the most important day?" The child replied, "Today." Why? Because yesterday is a story. Tomorrow is a guess. But today I can hold the sun in my hands. The Stoic is the child. She knows time is not a line. It's a point, sharp, piercing, alive. She stands on it. The tyranny of someday. Society will chain you to clocks, to deadlines, to 5-year plans. The Stoic asks, who owns you? The clock or the tick of your pulse? Zeno, founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck. Instead of mourning his lost wealth, he sat in Athens and listened to a philosopher speak. That moment changed history. Why? Because he chose to be present in his ruin. Your shipwreck might be a traffic jam, a burned dinner, a silent phone, but the practice is the same. Be here. Your invitation to alive. The next time your mind drifts to a bitter memory, an anxious tomorrow, grab it by the throat. Drag it back. Ask, what can I do right now to honor this breath? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. But do it. Not for productivity. For sovereignty. As Marcus Aurelius whispered on his deathbed, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. So tell me, if this were your final hour, would you waste it? Or would you live it? The Stoic path, a call to unbreakable sovereignty. This is where the road ends and where you begin. For 9 chapters, we've walked through fire. We've dissected pain, wrestled time, and stared into mirrors that showed our rawest selves. But here, now, I ask you, what will you do with these secrets? Will they collect dust in your mind? Or will they bleed into your bones? Let me tell you a story. A woman climbs a mountain, not to escape the world, but to see it clearly. At the peak, she finds a stone tablet. Carved into it are 10 words. You were born free. Everything else is practice. She laughs. She weeps. Then she descends and lives. That is the Stoic path. Not a set of rules. Not a list of secrets. A return to the unbreakable core that storms cannot touch. To the sovereignty you are born with. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have endured infinite troubles all your life by not being content with your own reason." Let me translate. You've suffered because you've handed your throne to others, to their opinions, their judgments, their chaos. But today, you take it back. The 10th secret. You've waited for it. Here it is. There is no 10th secret. The 9th? The 8th? They were all the same truth, polished by different hands. You are not what happens to you. You are what you do with what happens. A Stoic woman does not need a perfect life. She needs a disciplined mind, a more fatty, resilience, silence, virtue. These are not separate tools. They are one blade, forged by you, sharpened by you. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." How much have you wasted? Chasing approval, nursing grudges, begging fate for favors. No more. The day the phoenix refused to burn. In ancient myths, the phoenix dies in flames to be reborn. But what if it chose not to burn? What if it said, "I am already fire. Why would I fear ash?" That is you. You've spent lifetimes believing you must collapse to rise. But the Stoic knows you are already rising. Every breath, every choice, every refusal to kneel. Epictetus, the slave-turned-teacher, put it plainly. No man is free who is not master of himself. You want freedom? Stop waiting for permission. Stop craving miracles. Govern yourself. The last lie you'll ever believe. Society whispers, you're not enough. You need more money, more love, more power. The Stoic replies, I am enough. I have enough. I do enough. This is not complacency. This is revolution. When you stop begging, you become dangerous, unpredictable, free. A student once asked Zeno, "What is the goal of life?" He answered, "To live in agreement with nature." Your nature is not fear, not rage, not what. Your nature is reason. Use it. The practice of the unbroken. This is your final manual. Wake up alive. Every morning, touch the ground. Say, this is my world. I will not let it own me. Breathe sovereignty. When doubt comes, and it will whisper, I am the storm. I am the calm. I am both. Die daily, not your body, your ego, your attachment to praise, to control, to comfort. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. The woman who became a mountain. History forgets her name, but they say she lived during Rome's fall. While armies raged, she taught children under an olive tree. When asked why she bothered, she said, empires crumble, trees grow. What did she know? That legacy is not in statues, but in seeds. Your seeds, the ones you plant in minds, in hearts, and moments no one sees. Your invitation to immortality. You will die. Your body will fade. But your choices? They ripple. A kindness today becomes a stranger's courage tomorrow. A moment of patience quiets a future war. A single act of integrity outlives empires. Seneca wrote, life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. You are none of these. You are the Stoic, the awake, the unbroken, the final words. If you remember nothing else, remember this. You were born with everything you need, not the everything of money or fame, the everything of choice. To love fate, to master desire, to turn pain into power. These are not secrets. They are your birthright. So go, live, not as a victim of the world, but as its sculptor. And when you stumble, when, not if stand up, dust your knees, and whisper. Again, like this video? Then be part of the 0.2% who choose growth over noise. Smash like. Comment, I am unbreakable. Share it with someone who needs armor. And subscribe, not to us, but to yourself. To the Stoic within you, waiting to rise. This is Stoic Greetings. Signing off, but never surrendering.